Welcome to Career Ambitions, the podcast for corporate professionals who are ready to stop waiting and take control of their careers. If you're tired of sending applications into the void, wondering why you're not getting interviews, and watching opportunities go to people who are no more qualified than you, you're in the right place, my friends. I'm Joanne Sparrow, former HR director turned career coach, and I've spent more than 2 decades sitting on the other side of the hiring table. That means I know exactly what hiring managers think and what they say behind closed doors. Join me on this episode of Career Ambitions, where I'm pulling back the curtains on the hiring process and unapologetically exposing the truths job seekers are never told to give you the strategy and confidence to move your career forward and land your dream job or promotion. Let me say something that might feel very frustrating, but I promise it will be very freeing. Applying online is not enough anymore. I know that's very hard to hear, but for years, job seekers were told the same thing. Find a job, update your resume, submit the application, and wait to hear back. The process is no longer a strategy. It is just one small part of a much bigger process. And if you're applying to dozens of jobs online and hearing nothing back, I want you to know this. It does not automatically mean you're not qualified. And it doesn't mean your experience doesn't matter. It simply means the way hiring works has changed. And as a job seeker, you haven't been taught how to change with it. And that is what we're talking about today. Why applying online is not enough anymore. What is really happening behind closed doors in hiring, and what you must do differently if you want to land a role that actually aligns with your career ambitions. Welcome to Career Ambitions, the podcast for corporate professionals who are ready to stop leaving their careers to chance and start making strategic moves. I'm Joanne Sparrow, former HR director turned career coach, and for more than 20 years, I sat on the corporate side of the table. I worked with hiring managers and influenced their hiring decisions. I coached recruiters, I reviewed resumes, I've watched candidates move forward, and I've watched good candidates get overlooked. And now I help job seekers understand what is really happening behind the scenes so they can position themselves with more confidence, clarity, and more strategy. Today's episode is for you if you've been applying online and thinking, why am I not hearing back? Why am I qualified but still getting rejected? And why does it feel like my resume is disappearing into a black hole? Let's dive in. For a lot of job seekers, applying online feels productive. And it's productive in the sense that you're taking action. You're searching, uploading your resume, tailoring your cover letter, and you press submit. But action is not always the same as strategy. They mistake the activity for progress. And in today's market, it's often the most crowded space because the online application is only one door in the hiring process. And in today's market, it is often the most crowded door. LinkedIn has reported that more than half of people globally are looking for a new role in 2026. And many say the job search has become tougher over the last year. Recruiters are also using AI more often to find candidates with skills that may not have been found before. So you're competing with candidates who were referred or sourced directly or were already on the recruiter's radar. Candidates who've had conversations before the job was even posted. So when you apply online and wait, you're giving up way too much control. And I do not want you to be giving up control in your career, ever. Let me take you behind the scenes. When a role opens up inside a company, the process doesn't always start with a job posting. It starts with a business problem. The team's overwhelmed, or someone's gone on leave, or there's been a departure, or a new project that needs leadership. So before the posting goes live, conversations are already happening. The hiring manager may already be thinking about people they know, and the recruiter may already be searching on LinkedIn. And by the time you see the job online, the conversation may already be in motion. That doesn't mean you can't get the job, but it does mean your online application cannot be your only move, because hiring is not just about being qualified. It is about being visible, relevant, trusted, and easy to understand. That part is important. Easy to understand. Hiring managers are busy. Recruiters are managing multiple roles, and talent teams are under so much pressure to move quickly and identify quality candidates. LinkedIn's 2025 Future of Recruiting report emphasizes that AI, skills-based hiring, and quality of hire are reshaping recruiting priorities. So if your resume is generic, your LinkedIn profile is unclear, and your application does not immediately show why you are aligned to the role, you are making the decision harder. And when hiring teams are busy, unclear candidates are going to get left behind. So why qualified candidates are still getting overlooked? This is one of the most painful parts of a job search. You can be qualified and still be overlooked. I've seen this so many times with great candidates who have great experience, education, they've gotten results, they have professionalism, and they have the potential. But their career story, it's buried. Their resume reads like a job description. Their LinkedIn profile reads like a biography. Their networking messaging sounds like a transaction. And then they wonder why they're not standing out. Well, here's the truth, my friends. In a competitive market, being qualified gets you into the conversation. But being clearly positioned is what gets you noticed. You have to help the employer understand three things very quickly. What problems do you solve? Why are you relevant for this role? And why should they trust you to deliver? That's the difference. Hiring managers are not just buying your experience, they are buying your confidence. Confidence that you understand the business problem and that you can step in and contribute. The hidden job market is not a myth. People talk about the hidden job market all the time. It is alive and well, and sometimes it may sound mysterious, like there are secret jobs floating around only certain people can access, but the hidden job market is actually much more practical than that. It's in the conversations that happen before the role is even posted. And it's the referrals that happen before applications are reviewed. It is the opportunity that gets shaped around a person because that person made their value clear early on. This is why your network matters. Not because networking is about asking strangers for jobs. This is where people get it wrong. Networking isn't begging. It's not bothering people. And it's not sending a message that says, "Are you hiring?" Strategic networking is about building visibility, credibility, and connection before you need the opportunity. And it is about helping people understand who you are, what you do, and what kind of problems you solve. And so for my PR and communications professionals listening, this should sound familiar. You already understand positioning. You understand reputation and messaging. You understand stakeholder relationships, visibility, and influence. Now you have to apply those same principles to your own career. You cannot be the best kept secret in your industry and then wonder why opportunities are not finding you. This is what job seekers must do instead. Still apply online. I'm not telling you to stop applying. You still need to apply online, but your online application becomes one part of the broader strategy. Your strategy needs to include your clear target. Before you apply to anything, you need clarity. What roles are you actually targeting and ready for? And what makes sense for your background? Number two, you need to build a resume for impact, not responsibilities. Your resume should not read like a list of tasks. It should read like evidence. Evidence that you can solve the employer's problem. Every bullet should answer the questions of what did you improve, lead, influence, build? What changed because of your work? What risk did you reduce? What growth did you support? And what complexity did you navigate? Show them the value that you have created. Number three, you need to optimize your LinkedIn profile so recruiters can find you. You need to be discoverable. Your LinkedIn profile is not just an online resume. It's a search tool. Recruiters use LinkedIn to search for candidates, especially when they're looking for specific skills, industries, titles, and experience. LinkedIn has also been investing in AI-driven recruiter tools that help employers identify candidates across its large professional network. So your profile needs to be discoverable. That means your headline should be clear. Your About section should tell a focused career story. Your experience should include relevant keywords, And your skills should reflect the roles you want. Your profile should make you the obvious candidate to recruiters. Number 4, network before, during, and after. This is where the shift happens. Most job seekers apply and then maybe network. I want you to reverse that. When you see a role that interests you, ask yourself, who do I know at the company? Who do I know who might know someone there? Who's leading this function? Who has posted about this team? And who could help me understand what really matters most in this role? Your goal is not to manipulate the process. Your goal is to become more informed and more visible. Send thoughtful messages. Ask smart questions. Build real conversations and follow up with professionalism. Share why the role caught your attention and connect your background to the company's priorities. Number 5, create proof of your expertise. This is a major opportunity for job seekers. Your resume says what you have done. Your LinkedIn presence can show how you think, and that matters, especially in competitive fields like PR, communications, marketing strategy, HR, and leadership. You do not need to become a full-time content creator, but you do need to create visibility around your expertise. That could look like commenting thoughtfully on industry posts, or sharing a perspective on a trend in your field, posting a short lesson from your experience, or writing about a business problem you know how to solve. This helps people understand your professional point of view, and sometimes that is what makes you memorable, because when a hiring manager looks up to you, they do not just see a resume, they see how you think. Number 6, prepare for interviews before you get invited. This is something I say to my clients all the time. Do not wait until you have the interview to prepare for the interview. By then, you're rushing. You need to know your stories before you are under pressure. You need examples for leadership, conflict, influence, problem solving, change management, stakeholder management, decision making, and you need to tell those stories clearly. And I recommend to my clients using the Carl method: context, action, results, and learning, because the learning matters. It shows maturity and self-awareness. It also shows growth, and it shows that you're not just repeating experience, you're evolving from it. And that is what hiring managers want. They want someone who can think. 6, the mindset shift job seekers need. Now I want to talk about mindset, because this part matters. When you apply online over and over and hear nothing back, it can start to feel personal. You start questioning yourself, thinking maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm too old or senior, or I'm too junior, I don't have enough work experience, maybe I need another certification. I want you to pause, because silence from an online application is not a verdict on your value. It's data. It tells you something in your strategy needs to change. Maybe your resume is not targeted enough. Maybe your LinkedIn profile is not searchable enough. Maybe you're not having enough conversations, or your positioning's too generic, or perhaps your career story is not clear. That's not failure. That is great feedback. And when you treat your job search like a strategy instead of a judgment, everything changes. You will stop asking, why does nobody want me? And you will start asking, how do I make my value easier to see? That is a much more powerful question. What I would do if I were job searching today. If I were job searching today, knowing everything I know from 20 years in HR, I would not spend all day applying online. I would build a weekly search rhythm. Here's what that would look like. I would choose a clear target role, not 10 different directions. One primary target, maybe one secondary target. And I would identify 20 companies where I would genuinely want to work, not just companies that have open positions today. Companies that align with my skills, values, industry experience, and career goals. I would update my resume so it speaks directly to the problems those companies are hiring people to solve. I would optimize my LinkedIn profile so a recruiter could understand my value in less than 7 seconds. And I would start building relationships with people in those companies I'm targeting, not by asking for jobs, but starting conversations. I would engage with leaders and recruiters in my space. I would be posting or commenting with insights so people could see my expertise. And then I would apply online where there's a strong fit. And then follow up strategically. I would prepare interview stories before the interview came. And I would track everything I was working on, not emotionally, but strategically. Because a job search is not just about effort, it's about aligned effort. Here's the truth. Your dream job is rarely found by accident. It is usually created through clarity, positioning, relationships, timing, and readiness. You need clarity so you know what you're looking for. You need positioning so employers understand why you are the right fit. You need relationships so that you're not invisible. You need timing so you're in the right conversations before decisions are made. And you need that readiness so when the opportunity comes, you can step into the role with confidence. That's the work. And yes, it takes more effort than just applying online, but it is also more empowering because you are no longer sitting at home refreshing your inbox, waiting for someone to choose you. You are actively shaping your career. You are creating visibility, building trust, and helping the market understand your value. And that is how strong candidates become unforgettable. So if you take one thing from today's episode, let it be this. Applying online is not enough anymore because hiring is no longer purely transactional. It is relational, strategic, skills-based, visibility-driven, and it is influenced by trust, timing, and positioning. So yes, apply online, but don't stop there. Build the relationships, clarify your value, optimize your LinkedIn profile, tell stronger stories, show your impact, follow up, create proof, and become visible before you need to be chosen. Because your dream job is not just about being qualified, it is about being known for the right things by the right people at the right time. And that is something you can influence. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to take one action today. Do not apply to another job until you answer this question. What do I want to be known for in my next role? Write it down because that answer becomes the foundation of your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your networking conversations, and your interview stories. And if you know someone who is applying online every day and feeling discouraged, send them this episode. They do not need to work harder in the wrong direction. They need a better strategy. Thank you for listening to Career Ambitions. I am Joanne Sparrow, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Career Ambitions. If this episode gave you a new perspective, a practical takeaway, or even that little spark of confidence you needed, I would love for you to follow the show and leave a review. To celebrate the launch of Career Ambitions, I am running a special giveaway until May 30th, 2026. You could win 3 months of free coaching with yours truly, plus a pair of Apple earbuds. To enter, leave a review where you're listening today. Each review counts as an entry into a giveaway. The draw will be held on May 30th, and I cannot wait to celebrate one lucky listener with 3 months of career coaching to help them move forward with more clarity and confidence. Your next career move deserves a strategy. And if you're looking for more support, connect with me at Career Coach Joe on Instagram or joannesparrow.com to take your next step. See you in the next episode of Career Ambitions.